Hello guys and welcome to another CNC Rivals video. So today we're going to be talking a bit about how to counter tech decks. I'm going to go up against a GDI tech deck, and then I think I should have a replay here of a Nod tech deck. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so here we are against Jaybird. I am playing as Nod. I think this is my Nod climbing deck that I'm using. My Nod climbing deck is on my channel if you want to check it out. Now, he's using a Kodiak Disruptor, and I think Zone Trooper. Well, no, what was it? A Kodiak Disruptor, and I think it's like, what's it called? The freaking Sandstorm. He's using the Sandstorm Disruptor Kodiak. He starts out with a Shockwave. Went to a Laser Trooper because at first I actually was going to go attack his Harvesters, which you see I'm trying to do here. And at this point, my unit's basically dead, so, I'm just letting him follow me here. I don't know, this dude wasn't really paying attention to his Shockwave because he wasn't even moving it. And this unit game, I'm mainly using Nod Air, which is, I only have 2 Nod Air units right now, so, in this deck, so the Banshee and the Venom. I used air probably like most of this game. Like I probably only built like that ground unit and then maybe like 2 to 3, maybe even 4 more ground units. But for the most part, I was like spamming air since he was building so many these troopers here. I was like, well, if I build flamers, he can just try to counter those with his shockwaves. So I'm like, if I build Venoms, his shockwaves would be useless. And Venoms can trade with the missile troopers. Now you see here, I use my missile to take out that to deal damage to his harvester and take his missile trooper. You see, he finally goes into a tech lab. So yeah, and he's doing double harvesters. This is why double harvester is not the best strategy in the current meta. I just don't recommend it. The only time I recommend it is if you manage to rush your opponent and then destroy their harvester. If you've already built your own harvester, then going it already with that extra money is okay because you'll have some extra money to actually be able to do stuff. So he builds his first tech lab unit. I got his harvesters. I got that 100 credit boost, 100 crystal boost. So I at least have a couple of Tiberium crystals to build some counters. He builds another harvester. I build missile troopers. This is when I finally start going to infantry. I'm using my missiles to weaken the sandstorm. He builds a disruptor. I'm surprised he didn't go for a base rush. Most players who have disruptors in their decks go for base rushes, since it's really the only really good strategy with them. Since once your enemy gets air and stuff, like he knows I have air, so I'm surprised he didn't go for a base rush because I have air. I built a scorpion tank to counter that. I built a missile to two laser trooper to send to his sandstorm, and a scorpion to fight his disruptor. He brings a missile trooper down to fight my disruptor, and I get out to weaken the sandstorm because the missile is halfway charged. So what I'm going to do is towel block him, take over his top launch pad on his side over by his base. He uses his ion cannon, but he kills his own unit in the process. So I quickly build an air unit to rush down there. He builds a shockwave. Huge mistake since I had built an air unit. Basically at this point it is GG. He won't be able to kill my units fast enough, and that will be end of game there. And there we go, Jaybird. The key strategy against a tech deck: you want to pressure their harvester, but do not ever bring it too far in terms of the pressuring in their harvesters. Always charge the launch pad. Always make sure you keep that launch pad charging on your side. That will make it so that about time they get their first tech unit, you have the first missile. This will make it so them having those tech units will be less advantageous because they don't want to save time. Because usually they want to wait to get their tech units. If they get the first missile, or because thing is that a lot of players these days like to just press their harvesters. This will mean nothing if they get the first missile on you, and then they can basically hold you off because they're not only having more Tiberium boost than you because you spent all of your Tiberium on trying to rush their harvesters. So basically, do not worry about the harvesters that much. Secure the first missile, then pressure their harvesters, or do both at the same time. You saw that I was both pressuring his harvester and taking out his missile, so charging up the missile to take out his base. That is a key factor. Keep that in mind. So here we are against third Bat. He did pretty good. There was a lot of me trying to micro away from his units, him trying to micro away from my units. I actually kind of messed up with some of my micro. I wasn't really paying attention for the most part. Because I was like really fooling around with some GDI and Nod decks. I lost like a lot of matches. Like I really dropped out of Masters 2 on my Nod. So at the moment I'm trying to really messing around with some decks. And I'm trying to figure out, find some viable decks to see if I could mix up my climbing deck a little bit. But it ended horribly, so now I'm going to have to grind my points back, but I'll get right on that. So I started with Missile Trooper, like I did with the Nod deck I was using, and this is not my Nod climbing deck. I think this is a different deck. This is not my GDI climbing deck. This is a different GDI deck, because the other one has Rifleman in it. If I can talk about the deck if you guys want me to. He builds a buggy to chase after my shockwaves, which I run away with them, the microwave from his unit. I build a Pibble, so he runs away with his unit. I have to chase his unit down now. And really, like, once again, it's just us microing around our units a lot in the early game. I don't think he actually managed to get any of his tech units up, but that's probably because, once again, there's really two strategies you can really use against heavy tech decks. One, you charge the first missile immediately and keep their units off the missile. That way, you see he builds a Temple of Nod. Once you get the first missile, you basically really own the game. Now, it's not a complete win, but a lot of times it can be a huge win first missile. It's very important you get the first missile against these tech decks. Reason being, if you do not get the first missile, they will have plenty of time to then build, then get all their tech units, attack you, kick you off the pads while you're trying to get the second missile, and then basically take over the game. It happens a lot. It's very annoying. So one of the most #1 tip is to constantly be sure you're charging the first missile. Once you get the first missile, do not let up. There's no, you can, well actually, you can kind of let here. I'm not going to do harvesters, but that's mainly because GDI, when it comes down to it, I just don't like them as much when it comes to pressuring harvesters, because with the Nod, I can just send a Banshee, take down a harvester. Probably get like a harvester really close to dead and then take it out with another Banshee. I can take out a harvester easily with the Nod. However, with the GDI, it's a bit iffy. So you see here, he moves down both of his units, trying to take out my unit. I used that ion cannon, horrible ion cannon, should not even, it was a waste. I could have actually saved it to take out this Widowmaker, but by the time the Widowmaker even gets up there, I think this should be his second or third tech unit. It's GG by the time he gets up here. I do a bit of Pitbull to tile block him if he did kill it in time, but unfortunately he didn't kill the unit in time. And you can see tech decks are very powerful, but unfortunately they don't work as well in the higher tiers as they do in the lower tiers. In the lower tiers, usually you see all these players running around with these shiny tech decks. Really, and another thing is that countering the attack bike rush. The simple counter to an attack bike rush is stop using tech units. Tech units are great. You can use like 1 or 2 tech units. The tech units are okay. They're fine. They're perfectly good. However, especially in the high tiers, tech decks are better since most players tend not to rush you when you're playing in the higher tiers. They're less likely to rush you in the higher tiers. In the lower tiers, however, most players like to use the jump jet trooper rushes and the attack bike rushes. That way they can get a bunch of points and then basically skip ahead of you. Unfortunately, tiers, they can't rush you because most players can really easily counter that. In the lower tiers, however, is just so easy because most players play high tech deck and they tend to start with a double harvester. Basically, what I'm trying to say right now is do not start with a double harvester and do not use tech decks in lower tiers. Higher tiers, tech decks are great. Lower tiers, tech decks are horrible since most players love using the jump jet trooper rush and also the attack bike rush. Very annoying, and a lot of times you're going to if you go double harvesters, really just don't go double harvesters. It's a horrible idea. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Peace.